Hey y'all, you're listening to Diagnosing Sitcoms and Movies, the DSM podcast. We help make mental health more comfortable by using Black movies and shows we know and love and culture to remove stigma. So join our convo with your host, Courtney Copeland, licensed mental health counselor.
And Dr. B, licensed professional counselor.
Hey y'all, so we are talking about the 2001 film, Two Can Play That Game, written and directed by Mark Brown, who did a couple other movies. I know he wrote and directed Barbershop and some other straight to DVD and BET features like The Seat Filler and, you know, stuff like that. He was also the guy who said, I was working late. But anywho, this movie stars Vivica Fox, Morris Chestnut, who apparently we just love on the show because we've done so many of his movies already. Gabrielle Union, Tamala Jones, Monique, Wendy Raquel Robinson, Bobby Brown, Alex Thomas, and the person who made the movie for me and gave me all of the comic relief, Anthony Anderson. I'm surprised it took him until Blackish to get a real leading feature because he really carried this movie for me. Just me?
I agree. No, I agree. Actually, one of my favorite, pretty much both of my quotables came from Tony. The CIA ain't got nothing on a woman with a plan. And if that ain't true, because when I tell you, I've had friends that be like, what's his Facebook name? I'll find him on Facebook. How'd you find all? And they have all the information. He had a girlfriend last year. Things didn't work out. They can give you a whole story. But I'm telling you,
I'm one of those people. My mother is like, Courtney, get on it. And I'm like, okay, give me his last name. And if you have the month of his birthday, I'll get back to you in 30 minutes and let you know all of what I know. He went to jail. He was arrested. I'll run it down.
Oh my gosh. So see,
the CIA ain't got shit on the woman with a plan. Remember that.
Right. Remember that. And then my other favorite quotable is when they had the transfer of emotions, because that was a real moment. I mean, how many of us have had moments where you just went in and fucked with somebody because you was mad and now you feel better and that person's mad? That's real.
She said that shit does work.
It does work.
She was mad as hell. Damn it, that shit do be working sometimes.
He said once those emotion floodgates open,
you're home free. Home free. They get confused.
Bewildered. Lethargic. Amen. Why did they have to add lethargic?
He said it. He enunciated every syllable in that word.
I was so weak. But I was also like, how y'all going to do my girl like that with this transfer emotions? But whatever, we'll get to that later. What are some of your quotables?
Okay, so I'm not going to lie. When you said, okay, so let's do Two Could Play That Game, I was like, okay.
You wasn't feeling it?
So I don't know why, but then I watched it and I remember I really liked this movie when it came out. I don't know, how old was I, Rose? You know, you always are the age person.
I know, we were either 11, 12.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the movie and I really realized I said certain stuff from this movie that I still say today. So when Anthony Anderson is Tony is talking to Keith and he's like, has she even thought to say, just call in to see if you alive? I really call people or text people and be like, hey, just making sure you're still alive.
Yes.
And it's from this movie.
That's so funny. When I thought about that, I didn't think about you. And I'm like, oh shit, you do that, huh?
Yes. It's from this movie.
You right.
Hey, just check and make sure you're still alive, bro. But yeah, I definitely say that. And when Monique they see Keith on the dance floor dancing with them women all wild, and Monique is mad, and she's like, girl, do you want me to go yank him? And she's like, I done fought fools way bigger than him before. I ain't scared. I've said that too. I said it too and meant it.
And meant it. See, that's the bad part. You meant it.
But it was a long time ago. But the most annoying quote, the one that I hate, and that's why it's on the list, because I absolutely hate it.
Okay.
Yes, it's just terrible. It's with Gabrielle Union, where she first sees Shantae, and she leaves for it, says, "Let me go holler at that Negro."
Oh,
that shit irks me. It sends chills down my spine of agony. Let me go holler at that Negro.
This is how Black professional people used to talk back in the early 2000s.
I hope not.
Yeah, they do.
Because this movie was very 2000s, like from the clothes, the hair,
the makeup.
Yes, everything. The corny LA slang that they were using.
Baby, they had Morris Chestnut and some leather pants. Baby, you want to say that's 2000?
So, I have a question that I wanted to ask. This is a very serious, culturally relevant question. Did this movie coin, and really give the basis for the term church hug? Because, we all know what a Christian church hug is. But were we saying, that we gave somebody a Christian church hug before this film?
I know I wasn't.
I know I wasn't either.
So this is where I got it from, as far as knowing what a church hug was.
Mm-hmm.
And I cracked up before, as a kid, I was I didn't pay attention too much to the joke, or it didn't sit with me until becoming a woman and realizing you just can't hug up on anybody. You just can't. So you really do have to put your butt out. Or your hip
pitter patter.
With a little pitter patter, because the minute a man feels a little shum, he done. Look, what's that song? I feel a poke coming through on you. Now,
I didn't know what that song was about as a child either.
That's what they was talking about. It was talking about men getting horny on the dance floor and not controlling their impulses whenever they feel a woman's body. So that's why I give church hugs, and that's where I got it from. Not everybody gets to feel on the lusciousness of this body.
Oh.
Okay.
So what was the thing in the 90s and I guess the 2000s too about main characters talking into the camera? There was a lot of shows and movies where they break that fourth wall and the main character gets to look and talk to the audience. It made us feel like we were
a part of it. Yeah. And then, or it's this walking and talking TED Talk or documentary that you're watching. A more interesting, involved documentary. No, but
Love and Hip Hop is what it is. They talking into the confessional right there.
Right. I think I do think it's a definitely an art style, a filming style or technique, especially to kind of go away from the typical just acting. It's well, why not get our audience involved and talk to the audience or explain what's happening to the viewer? So I think it might be one of those techniques or theories that they teach in film.
And I definitely think that it was smart to use it in this film too, especially because of the pronounced theme of manipulation. And so even as the audience, we're being manipulated as well, because Shantae is talking directly. She talks directly to us. She makes us feel special. That helps get you on her side for certain things and see certain points of view and different things like that. So I felt like it was very smart for them to use it here, because it's also that tool of manipulation where that's pretty much what the film is about, is everybody manipulating each other.
Yeah. And then it made me think okay, the start of the problem seems so small, but then was it? Was it though? Because he lied. He was somewhere with another woman. And how she handled it, honestly, I feel like I probably would have been on some petty shit like that too. Honestly.
So for the people who haven't seen the movie, though, a quick synopsis, basically, Shantae Smith is a successful marketing executive who is in a relationship with an accomplished lawyer named Keith. Shantae is out with her girls one night and she sees Keith out dinner and dancing, I guess, with another woman that he says is from work. And then she starts a 10-day program of punishment and basically training Keith like a puppy, how she wants him to act. But Keith's friend Tony is coaching Keith from the sidelines to be just as equally destructive. And then they make up in the end.
Yeah, because I just think that it shouldn't have gotten to the extreme of where it was, especially when involving the other people to get back at one another, especially when they were going to the dinner or, the party. And so I don't know, I don't know how I would tell my friends how to deal with that situation. I wouldn't give them a 10-day program, honestly.
Do you feel like there are certain rules, tricks, tips, strategies to keep your man, as Vivica Fox said in the movie?
I do think there are ways. I don't know. Because then honestly, I think the tips and tricks is obviously communication, which was not displayed in this movie. That's definitely one way.
Or trick, or is that basic human interaction that you should
for some
engage
people
with?
For some people, it's a tip because they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to communicate. All of this communication. The thing is that people think they know how to communicate, but we don't, right?
We know how to talk.
Right. We know how to talk. We don't know how to communicate. And there's different communication styles. And when you realize with this particular movie, this was very passive-aggressive communication styles. So because of that, you had and they were both passive-aggressive with each other, then that's where the problem started to arise. Had they just been assertive with where they were and how they felt about things, this wouldn't have been the movie. But here we are. I think for me, if I were to say, I think communication and giving good head is how you keep your man.
Duly noted. You should write a book. Book be one page. New York Times bestseller.
Communication. Suck dick. That's it.
The end.
New York bestseller.
Save the American crisis of divorce right there. So I think it should be give head. So then it's not just suck dick. Because as Ari said, no one wants a deceiving, mistreating, no giving head ass partner.
That's right.
And again, as much as I enjoyed the movie and I enjoyed rewatching the movie, I also feel like, wow, this movie is really problematic.
How so?
We should not be. I definitely feel like it was trying to tell the story from a woman's point of view, but it still was written by a man. And there was still some misogynistic tropes that were carried out throughout the movie. I definitely feel like it's problematic for, Shantae was very manipulative. Like we said before, even the audience was being manipulated to view her positively. She talks directly to us and telling us things that that might not be revealed to others, but it still had stereotypical roles for women within relationships. Shantae was the manipulator. Wendy I always say her second name wrong. Raquel Robinson, who played Karen, she was the one who was trying to basically buy her partner in Bobby Brown by dusting him off, cleaning him up, and then be married. She was a choose me type girl. Monique was loud and aggressive. And then Tamala Jones, who played Tracy, she and her man were always arguing. She was with a cheater, but she always took him back. To me, they were just very stereotypical. And the men often were, especially Keith, viewed himself as, I'm the catch. I'm the prize. Every man in the film, I'm the prize. And the women, no, y'all are lucky that I chose you. And so I didn't like that part of it. And then the game playing that went on, I just felt like isn't a good representation that we need to see of Black love. Yes, it all worked out in the end, but I would hate for couples to have to go through that process to get to the happy ending when they could just, like you said, communicate properly, give each other good head, and have healthy, happy relationships without all of the game playing in between. I don't like that it worked out in the end because they, as much as they was manipulating each other, maybe y'all need to be together. So there was that, but it's a movie, so it had to have a conclusion.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I agree. I know. I like a happy ending. And now that you say that about the female group or the women leads or characters, it did kind of strike a chord with me when it was Deidre talking to her boyfriend, and it's just like, or even just like them, like, why are you still here? Like, why are you still dealing with this? And why is this even a thing? But then also like kind of feeling similar to Shantae and feeling like, okay, I'm that friend that, my friends come to and talk to about their man and how they man ain't doing this, that, and the third. And so it's just an interesting thing. I just never really saw myself in all of them. Did you feel like you could relate to any one of the women in particular?
I did not. I definitely saw myself like spread out amongst them. The Deirdre, the talking shit, the being goofy and all of that. Yes. And like, I can't do nothing. I can't make a man act right, but you want me to beat him up for you? Like,
right.
That's what I have to offer. With the Karen, like, if that happened to me, I would just cry, because I am a crybaby, and I'm going to be mad and I'm going to want to tear some stuff up, but it's going to be after I cry first.
Or I'm crying as I'm tearing shit up. That's usually how it goes.
I just did that. As well as nobody wants to, like, anyone you're in a relationship with, be it a friendship, be it an intimate partner relationship, you interact with them, you learn from them. Or you are in people's lives to in some way make them better. So if you're not making them better, then you really don't need to be around that person, because you're making them worse. So no one wants to build a person up, pour into somebody, and then be left high and dry, which is something that does happen. That does happen often in relationships. And it goes both ways. And so I definitely understood Karen in that. I remember on an episode of Love and Hip Hop when Chrissy was like, you don't want to spend all this time teaching your man how to chew with his mouth closed, and then you see him at the next table with the next bitch chewing at her table. Like, I didn't do all of this work for you to go somewhere else. So I understood that part of her. And then Tamla's character was just funny to me. Like, she was hilarious. Like, the way that they argued, no one should be tearing up each other's house, and they definitely shouldn't be hitting each other.
Yeah.
But when she was like, he was like, to get out, go, leave. She was like, you don't tell me what to do. Let me.
Okay.
Hold on, Shantae. I got something I got to take care of first. Like, that to me was funny, because I probably could see myself doing that. But in an argument. But yeah, I guess I would be spread out amongst them into one mutant of them all.
One mutant of them all. Fair enough. I feel like I kind of have a little bit of each. As far as like, getting to the point of like spazzing and fucking shit up, I definitely feel like I have a little Tracy in me where I'd be like, I'm leaving! And slamming doors.
Have you ever fucked shit up on your way out?
I canceled Christmas one year.
Oh.
I canceled Christmas. I threw down the Christmas tree.
Oh.
The Christmas is canceled! It was like a little 3-foot tree. Let's get it.
You meant that as like a euphemism, like Tommy on Power, but you really canceled Christmas.
I really can't.
I'm dying.
So angry.
I've been in an argument and like I'm a shoe thrower. Like, say some wild shit. I'm gonna pick up this Timberland boot and I'm beaming it like a pitcher for the Astros. But other than that, I've never fucked shit. I've always wanted to, but no one's ever like pushed me relationship wise. No one's ever pushed me to that place where I don't think I give a fuck enough. I need to start giving a fuck more.
No, just do
so
it.
that I could get mad enough to fuck some shit up.
And just go fuck it up. Yeah, you don't ever get random thoughts to fuck shit up. Like, maybe that's just me.
I get rid of thoughts to fuck shit up, and I fuck shit up before, but not like my partner's shit. I've never fucked my partner's shit up. Anyway, I don't even know where we were.
What the fuck? Oh, going through the character.
Yes, was there a character that you felt like you related to? I said that I'm a mutant version of all of the ladies. Was there anyone that you one in particular identified with?
No, I think I'm like a same. You know, like there's not one that I can like strictly say like that's me to the T. I think with Karen, like I definitely feel like with Karen. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna give him, and I'm a giver. You know, I want my man to look good and feel good. And
we're nurturers by nature.
Yeah. And so that's just naturally who I am. So I empathize with Karen with that. But I've never had someone be upgraded so much that they left me high and dry. You know, I don't got those type of upgrading skills, but.
I'm not in that tax bracket yet. I ain't fixed my own teeth yet. I can't fix nobody else's
that
teeth.
part, I can't. I'm sorry, I'm not there yet. So when I'm there, maybe hit me up.
And so I felt like Karen, she was, she showed some tendencies of being a codependent enabler.
Yes.
And so she definitely needed to be needed. And so she was going to create that dynamic where she needed to excuse any problematic behaviors that he was having, be the person that needed to be there, be supportive while continuing to perpetuate the negative system that they were in. Some people who are codependent, that can come from having maybe like possibly a non-nurturing caregiver and things like that. There is strategies, really awareness is the biggest piece in fighting codependency, is becoming aware of what part you play in that system and stopping those cyclical behaviors. Yes, I got that word out on the first try. Woo.
Hey, I saw you working through it. I was like, what's she working on?
The speech impediment, it inhibits so much.
I feel it.
And so I did not give her a full-blown diagnosis, but I did. That is something that I would want to work with her if I was her clinician, is her levels of codependency. Thought? Did I light bulb? I just saw it go off. What happened?
So remember that diagnosis you gave Blue from The Temptations? What did you give Blue?
Yes, I gave him dependent personality disorder.
I feel like that might be her too.
Now that you say that, I can see that.
From Shantae, with her and Shantae.
Yes.
You saw how she was in the front of the restaurant, like, oh my God, let me tell them. Let me tell you, this is how I got my man back. Like, girl. And it's proven. My girl know what she's doing. Like, girl, shut up. Get off her dick.
Get off her dick. Like,
it's gross. The shit is gross. Did you find it? I didn't even start looking for it.
Yes, I am pulling it up right now. Dependent personality disorder is a pervasive and excessive need to be taken care of that leads to submissive and clinging behavior and fears of separation, beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts.
Yep.
She did have that, like, soon as he left, Michael used to buy me these flowers.
Yes. And like, how is it that you got to be on your friend's couch crying like this?
And they took a shower. But part of the criteria is having difficulty making everyday decisions without an excessive amount of advice and reassurance from others. And so
Shantae.
Needs others to assume responsibility for most major areas of his or her life. And that's why
Shantae! Yes.
She was still a successful, professionally, she still had a successful work life before this relationship. Like, she still, but you don't have to meet all criteria. You just have to meet at least 5 for this diagnosis. So that might not be one of the ones. Having difficulty expressing disagreement with others because of fear of loss of support or approval. Difficulty initiating projects or doing things on his or her own because of lack of self-confidence and judgment or abilities rather than lack of motivation of energy. Goes to excessive lengths to obtain nurturance and support from others to the point of volunteering to do things that are unpleasant, fixing his whole grill and everything, cutting off his Jerry curl. That means that you messing with him when he had the Jerry curl. Could you imagine sexy time and you up under a man and his hair drip on you?
Or you putting your fingers through that Soul Glow?
Oh, no, not the Soul Glow.
Soul Glow. Rub your fingers through that hair, girl.
would be so bad if he ever like shook his hair and some like got in my eye. I'm cussing you out.
Oh my
God. Okay. So some more where feels uncomfortable or helpless when alone because of exaggerated fears of being unable to care for themselves.
Yes.
Unrealistically preoccupied with fears of being left to take care of themselves. I would say yes. So yes, I think you are right. So we are adding a diagnosis. Boom, look at that. Dependent personality disorder.
There we go.
What did you think about Bobby? I mean, well, Michael. But Bobby Brown, who actually had a song called "Who Could Play That Game."
Yes, he did. So what do I think about him? I think he's a fuckboy. I think that this is like where fuckboyism was birthed. I mean, and then
he's all a pioneer.
He's a pioneer. Honestly, though, I feel like the role was very well suited, and Bobby played that role very well. Bobby is a fuckboy.
Bobby is not a fuckboy.
Was
Bobby? No. Bobby gets a bad rap, and I'd be damned. We not just gonna continue as a culture to drag Bobby's name through the mud. Now, I don't watched all of the Lifetime movies and the documentary, and I watched that terrible ass series with him talking about how he was going to dig the boo-boo out her butt, and it wasn't him. He was not the problem. He was a little bit of the problem. He's a little bit of the problem, but it wasn't him.
He's still a fuckboy, in my opinion. It's my prerogative. Anywho.
I hate you.
No, I think, but Bobby Brown definitely played the role very well. And I think that he probably took on that role. Let me not speak for him, because, I mean, we could call him and have an interview. We'll set up something next week.
You do that. Call his people.
I'll call his people, have my people call his people. To really get his opinion on why he took this role. But I do feel like at that time...
Bobby Brown's a good actor.
He is. But I also feel like he took the role to signify or like to play up on what people thought of him.
Yes. Okay, I can see that.
You get what I'm saying? Like to really show like, oh, well, people think I'm a fuckboy. Well, then I'm going to play this fuckboy character. And I'm going to do damn good at it. And he did. Is basically what I'm saying. Fuck boy, what you gonna do? So I just think that like, yeah, he's like, he just did what any man would do. He wanted the draws. He got the draws. And he's like, oh, I get more with this? Oh, cool.
So I didn't diagnose Tracy and Dwayne individually. I don't know if this is possible. I'm making this up in my mind. This is not clinically approved. This is not something that clinicians do. However, I feel like their relationship had a borderline personality disorder.
Girl, it did. It really did. And honestly, they did. I would say it was like an intimate relationship conflict. Like they just really did not know how to work well with each other. You ever see people where it's like, how are you guys together? Like, why are you together? And then because I'm dirty in my mind, sometimes I'm like, the sex must
be amazing.
Must be the sex. I go there because I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, where does it line up for you to continue to take this dumb shit? It's the dick. I get it. I get it. We've all been there.
She was talking about her body, and she was like, and the lady was just wild and a mess and just extra. And she was like, and that bitch ugly. But you know what? Her and him been together for a long ass time. And she said, she must be a monster in them sheets.
Let me tell you, it's true. And people really do stay in really fucked up situations just because of that.
Yeah, you know? That's true. So. I did feel like, while it's not a clinical diagnosis, I did think that Dwayne suffered from mythomania, which is basically being a pathological liar, because she brought the draws out. It said, they damn sure ain't mine. So whose are they? Knowing good and damn well she put them draws up under there.
Exactly. One of Shantae's dumbass games. Would you do
that?
It?
Ain't no good. Hell no, I ain't putting no drawers up under there. Because if he lie, because if he lie, like you lie to protect yourself, and protecting yourself is an instinctual result. So you might lie just to lie without fucking somebody else. If I feel like you fucking somebody else to the point where I feel like I need to put drawers up under the couch,
right?
Why are we together?
Right.
Why am I still fucking you?
Because the dick good.
But if I come to that conclusion and the dick is the D2B, the dick 2 bomb, and I can't leave, then I'm not about to bother you about fucking other bitches. I'm about to buy you some condoms so that I could get my good dick. They could get their good dick because we all just out here getting good dick. I'm not going to interrupt my good dick. I'll make sure I get safe good dick. And then I'm going to be looking for an actual real relationship somewhere else, but while continuing to fuck you because you fucking everybody else.
That's some shit. You know what? That's serial monogamy. And that is a surefire way. Here comes Dr. Britton.
Thank you, Dr. Rosie.
I know.
I need to lay on your couch.
Right. A surefire way to get STIs. Message. Use protection. But then I feel like...
Don't put the drawers under the couch, though. If you're going to get mad...
That's the game.
If you're going to get mad, why put the drawers up under there?
It's a matter of it's the game. It's the game. Because then, like you said, the outcome is dependent upon how that person reacts. Are you going to tell me that these your sister's drawers and she did laundry over here? As a matter of fact, she was just looking for those? Or...
But what if he's honest? And what if he's like, you crazy bitch, you put them under there. Then how do you look?
You'd be like, oh. Oh. Give me my drawers.
Right, babe. I be tripping. I just want to see what you was going to say.
And then you walk away. So the writer of this movie has a good point. It's not some things; it's just a little over exaggerated.
Yes, I feel like it was. He had all great ideas. He just exaggerated them to communicate his points. So everyone was an exaggerated stereotype of themselves.
Anywho, what she got?
I talked about Deirdre because, like she said, she has fought fools way bigger than him, and she won't scared. But I also felt like, well, that's not normal, Deirdre. You shouldn't be having to be out here fighting these grown men like this. And so I did diagnose her with unspecified trauma and stressor-related disorder.
Listen, because we don't know.
She was keyed up. She was hyper-vigilant. She saw the stimuli of Keith out on the dance floor with other women, and she immediately went into fight or flight. Like, well, bitch, what we gonna do?
Well, I mean, because she probably was molly-whopping the man that she had at home.
I don't know. She said he was a little thug, but that he could lay the pipe.
The dick game's stupid.
But anywho, for the category is applies to presentations in which symptoms characteristic of trauma and stressor-related disorders that cause clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning predominate, but do not meet the full criteria for any of the disorders in the trauma and stressor-related disorders diagnostic class. And so I felt like her experience with possibly having to fight men more than once could have triggered a traumatic response to her. And so in instances where her hypervigilance did take over and it was fight or flight, that was a trauma response of her having to to yoke up men.
I mean, I think that's a serious conversation that doesn't happen often, is like the seriousness of men experiencing domestic violence as well. You know, and it's always this kind of assumption that, if he's a man, why can't he defend himself? But in some cases, it's like, well, he's a man. And he doesn't want to why should he have to hit a woman for her to calm down? You know? And so it's like, you know, when you look at the society's norms and like standards, you know, the double standards that we have for how men should react in violent situations versus women, you know, it makes it unfortunate where a man can't even report his own domestic violence because of shame of being emasculated.
Right. And domestic violence is really a serious topic for everyone in heterosexual relationships and same-sex relationships. It is, and I definitely feel like it is a big problem, especially in the Black community. It is one of the leading causes of death, especially for Black women between the ages, I think, of 18 and 34. And so I do think that while we are laughing and joking about it, but having to fight a man, your man, is never okay. And I think that it unfortunately was normalized, especially like back in the day, of that's just what it was. There's some couples that just fight each other. And it's Thursday, they got into a fight, they be back cool by Saturday. Like, and it's not okay. And I want us to find better ways to love each other. Especially because with the wave of Black love and the rededication to learning how to communicate in a healthy way with your partner, how to grow, how to elevate yourself in your relationship. I do hope that is something that is being addressed and is being left behind, because domestic violence is not okay. People are out here dying as a result of it, and love should not hurt. I
agree. And unfortunately, we have people getting canceled, with stuff like this. And I mean, it is sending a good message. I'm hoping that this is sending a message that, men can no longer get away with these things. But I also realize that women have the tendency to do those things as well. So,
right.
The narrative can't just be just at men. We also have to recognize that women have the capability of doing it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, in heterosexual relationships and same-sex relationships.
Absolutely.
I don't feel like that is discussed enough either.
No, yeah, absolutely. That is definitely a population that tends to get overlooked, especially because it is same-sex. So it's like, oh, well, this was an equal fight. And it's like, no, this is still domestic violence. As long as
it's not okay. I don't want to fight you.
Right. It was domestic. It was at home. So domestic violence.
Intimate partner violence at any level.
Exactly. Not cool. All right, so what else you got?
Connie's whole ass. I felt it in my spirit when she said, "No, this trick ass bitch."
Exactly. When she punched her that first time, I was like, she really did it. My dumb self. And then I was like, oh, it's just a dream. Dang it.
Because she talked directly to the camera and then rewound it.
I know, right? It's talking about the filming strategy they use in this movie. So I thought that I was happy she got punched, but I was mad it wasn't real.
No, I was happy it wasn't real. Because that was a party full of white people. You can't beat a few Black women in the party fighting each other over a man.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. And
especially out in front of everybody. You take that shit to the bathroom like self-respecting Black women.
Like a self-respecting Black woman. That's right. Take that shit in the bathroom.
You make sure everybody else is out. You lock that door and then you leave the one in there so she get herself together and join back the party when she's ready.
Damn. What a Black
I'm not saying this like it's happened before.
I feel like it has.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, I did get 1, 2, 3, 4.
I didn't like. I did give. Oh, you gave Connie a diagnosis?
I did, but I want to know why you don't like her first, and I'm interested.
I didn't like her because, like, that this is her man. Mm-hmm. Why? Like, she was pressing so hard on the situation, So it's like, yeah, you do deserve to get your ass whooped. Again, not condoning violence because you don't use violence to get your point across. But still, But
Connie did have good points when she was like, if he is your man, he ain't out here acting like it. And if you have a problem with him, you take that up with him, not me.
And that's where Connie did have a very good point. And that is the same line that I would use if I was caught up in her situation. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it was wrong, but I got these good points.
Exactly. Yeah, I ain't your problem. That's your man. That's your problem. But yeah, she does have a good point. I think a lot of women get really upset at other women when really we should be getting mad at these men's that ain't treating us right.
And Shantae was mad at her man, but because she refused to communicate like a mature adult and decided to then be passive aggressive and use this 10-day program, she wasn't able to take that anger out on Keith the way that she really wanted to or communicate her feelings to him in the way that she wanted to. So she took it out on Connie. So like you said, the keys to life, communication and good head.
Yep.
I feel like the whole movie could have been solved in
one night.
Right? It could have been an episode.
Mm-hmm. It really could have. But, the writer just had to get...
This shit could have been an Instagram story.
A Reels. Yes, a Facebook story. We trifling.
We are, but it's okay. I did diagnose Connie with histrionic personality disorder, which is a pervasive pattern of excessive emotionality and attention seeking, beginning in early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts. For her, I saw the interaction with others often characterized by inappropriate, sexually seductive or provocative behavior. And exampled by the dancing on the dance floor. And he was like, she got her titties all on my back. Even though Anthony Anderson was like, do you know how much I would pay if I heard about her titties on my back?
Like, come on, bruh. Here's $50. Put your titties on my back real quick. Real quick.
Not real quick. Make it last. $50.
No, real quick. Put it right there.
What's up? Okay. Consistently uses physical appearance to draw attention to self. And I don't know why, but in my mind, it went to that scene where she like runs her fingers through that horrible quick weave ponytail.
That's when I thought, I was like, this is where they used to call it a horsetail. And I used to hate it.
Has a style of speech that is excessively impressionistic and lacking in detail. Shows self-dramatization, theatricality, and exaggerated expression of emotion. And considers relationships to be more intimate than they actually are.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
You felt that, huh?
I did. Yeah. Because I feel like she didn't realize that she was a pawn in this. Like the only reason why he's even showing you this type of interest is because he's trying to get her to be jealous. So for her to take it to that extreme of like, this is my man now and we're in a relationship, it was like, calm down. You're just being used. Relax. So that's what.
Do you feel like she cared?
No.
Do you feel like, because I feel like some people are like, just keep on using me till you use me up. Like, if that's what I'm here for this, then I'm enjoy it while it's this. I feel like some people are naive and don't realize that they are being used and think that, oh, this person does actually express interest in me. And I'm not sure if I know where Connie fell on that spectrum.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure because it's like
because they were exaggerated stereotypes of themselves. They did not develop Connie's character enough to do anything but be a trick ass bitch.
Yeah, because then it was just kind of like, well, would she do this with any of the other guys? Because then her reaction or interaction with the boss or I don't know. It's hard. I feel like for her personality type, like the job that she had seemed like it would fit. Like and as a woman in that industry, I wonder if the over exaggerated sexual, advances or whatever is to appeal to your client. So with her trying to get a deal, like, is she having to do these extra things? And then does that spill over in her personal life, or is that her personal life spilling over into her professional life as well?
But Shantae said that we don't know. We're not making any accusations, but that shortly after Connie started working at her job, her boss got a divorce.
Yeah.
We needed character development there.
Yeah,
I needed more from Connie. I needed to know, hoe, is you a hoe? Or is you just misunderstood and perceived as a hoe?
Right. Or is this really Shantae's?
Or how do you just like being a hoe? Because sometimes it's okay to just be a hoe. But you gotta own your hoe when you a hoe. You can't just be out here a hoe and I'm not a hoe. If you a hoe, you gotta be. You stand up in your hoe.
I'm a hoe. I'm a hoe and I'm proud. Call me Dr. Ho.
All right, Dr. Ho. Did you have anything for Keith?
Yes, I did. No, actually, I didn't. I'm sorry. I had
Is
something.
that your whole voice? That's your Dr. Ho voice?
Yes, it is. And my Dr. Ho voice tells you to wrap it up. This is.
Yes, if you're going to be a hoe, you be a clean hoe. You be a safe, well-protected, clean hoe.
Because these hoes ain't loyal.
If these hoes be acting up and these niggas be letting them.
Okay. Girl, what you got for Keith? I'm not dealing with you today, y'all.
Okay. I diagnosed Keith with a other specified depressive disorder, short duration depressive episode.
Because
criteria for that. He really was going through. He really, because Shantae was out here playing games. And so that's why I was kind of like, well, thank you, Tony, because you put your man out of, you were being a good friend.
That's right.
Depressed affect and at least 4 of the 8 symptoms of major depressive episode associated with clinically significant distress or impairment that persists for more than 4 days, but less than 14 days. An individual with whose presentation has never met the criteria for any other depressive or bipolar disorder does not currently meet an active or residual criteria for any other psychotic disorder and does not meet the criteria for recurrent brief depression. So basically, because that lists a lot of other things, basically just saying a depressive episode for a short, quick time, at least 4 days, but not exceeding 14 days, which I felt was right about where he was with this whole 10-step program fiasco.
Right.
This manipulative bullshit. Listeners, don't do this shit. Please don't do this with your partner.
This was dumb. And then
this was a waste of fucking 10 days. You could have got your apology.
Could have went out.
Could have
had dinner and then made love for makeup sex and shit. But here you go.
Because makeup. But no, you missed out on that because you wanted to play games. And now you just went 10 days without it for what?
And you almost lost your man to the local hoe.
Time that you could have went to the Lauryn Hill concert because he had tickets.
Girl.
So you missed Lauryn Hill. I mean, granted, after that, Lauryn Hill ain't come back out for another 10, 12 years. So you missed one of the last sightings of Lauryn Hill when she actually came on stage on time.
I know.
And you missed moments with Keith with Morris Chestnut fine, just beautiful self. And you made him put on them ugly leather pants.
I couldn't believe it. I said, when he walked into, I said, those are leather pants.
Those are leather. Those are.
And then he sat down, and I thought they were tight at first, but then
they weren't. They were baggy leather.
That leather won't make you lethargic.
Confused,
bewildered.
Honey,
I cannot.
They are a whole mess. They had too much fun recording that scene.
I feel like half of the things that Tony said were off script.
Yeah, like this. I have, how you going to tell me I don't know women when I have a cat, and
a gay uncle.
Gay uncle. I'm like, oh, well, shit, he might make a point. But the cat, though, what the cat got to do with it?
I just loved him in this movie. I'm happy that now he is getting the leading opportunities that he deserves, because he showed in this film that he could really carry a film. And I just hate that it took since 2001 for him to have that opportunity. But I'm glad that he has it now. A lot of times Hollywood is just late to catch on.
They real late, honey. But, now that Black Lives Matter and all. Anywho.
Hopefully. We'll see. We know they matter. Let's see how long that folks want to. Anywho, you gonna have me go. I'm not going there today.
We're not going there. We're not
going there today. Okay, so did you have anything for Tony?
I did. I gave him generalized anxiety disorder. And that was me just like looking at how overly involved and like worked up about this whole situation he really was. And I think it's also because he was passionate to be able to find this one person who knows how to play the game just as well as he does. So he was intrigued.
She is not an amateur.
Right? He is not an amateur. But so when I look at like the diagnostic criteria for anxiety disorder, I realize like maybe he may not, fit it. So excessive anxiety and worry occurring more days than not for at least 6 months. So it doesn't seem as if they've been even dating that long. Or maybe they have.
No, she said that he has been her man. He's been her man for a long little while. It's just that we only get to see these 11 days because.
Okay.
That's all we get.
I wonder. Okay. So then that makes me think, okay, was that excessive anxiety and worry based off of like where he is in his life, but he saw a window of opportunity in his friend's life to interject and project his things? And so then like he took... Because I feel like for him to have known this information, for him to have been able to provide so much insight that he himself had these experiences, that this is his lived experience. So when he saw it in his friend, that he intervened.
Do you feel like it came from him learning the lesson or that it came from him learning vicariously from seeing the game being played by his cat, his 9 sisters, and his gay uncle?
I think both and the cat, gay uncle, and sisters, and life experience.
Okay.
And the cat.
Yes, I can agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, don't forget the cat because apparently the cat offers some fundamental feminine education.
I guess, because it's absorbed. The individual finds it difficult to control the worry. I don't think he had difficulties controlling it. I think he was just obsessive of the game.
I think it's more of an obsessive component more than an anxious component. I think that he wanted to be a good friend. And I think he is obsessive when it comes to the game playing. And then he saw his friend going through this and he knows that this is a place that he excels in because he does have this body of knowledge for the game. And so he didn't want his friend to go through that. So he offered up the knowledge, the expertise that he has from his obsession with the game.
So if I was to do that, then obsessive compulsive disorder with a good or fair insight, the individual recognizes that the obsessive compulsive disorder or the beliefs are definitely and probably not true. Well, no, that's not true. I would say with poor insight. I say actually scratch the generalized anxiety disorder. Scratch that, take that out. Obsessive compulsive disorder definitely fits him because because of the beliefs that he thinks are true based off of women, and then reoccurrent persistent thoughts and urges or images that are experienced at some point in time, intrusive and unwanted. Most individuals cause markedly anxiety or distress. His constant thought of women, objectifying them. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching. I might be reaching.
I'll go with it. I'll give you that. So far we have Keith with other specified depressive disorders, short duration depressive episode. Tony with obsessive compulsive disorder with poor insight. Karen as dependent personality disorder. Tracy and Dwayne as the hot ass mess relationship. Deirdre with unspecified trauma and stressor related disorder. And Connie with histrionic personality disorder. Yeah. So our last remaining main character would then be Shantae. Did you have something for her?
I didn't.
I do. Okay, so she's the main character. We're supposed to love her. As watching the movie, I do. But then as I think about this, as if this was a real person, and if I was to treat this person, I would say that I gave her narcissistic personality disorder.
Really? I would say borderline. They're close.
I would say close with a sociopath.
Yes, because of the type of mind you have to have.
Mm-hmm.
to go through these shenanigans. And for so
could you imagine being in session with this heifer? I would be like, oh, bitch.
That's why I said borderline personality disorder, because borderline personality disorder, they can fuck with you in a session, and they love it.
Mm-hmm.
They do. And so it's like,
I bounced between the two and then came to like
narcissistic. Okay. So What was it? What was it that made it, this is it?
So I diagnosed her not just with narcissistic personality disorder, but also depersonalization and derealization disorder, because she kept stopping and talking to the camera.
There's a camera.
And I said in real life, that would be really weird. So I'm going to go ahead and diagnose that as well.
Wow, I do it all the time.
Just, a little odd. It's a little odd, but everybody has their stuff.
Especially when I'm doing like my makeup or I'm cooking. I'm like, hi, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. I do it all the time. It's fun. It makes me feel like I have an audience. You're lame. You're weird.
I'm not saying anything. I'm working so hard on staying quiet over here. I thought that Shantae was preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, and or ideal love. I felt that she believed that she was special and unique and could only be understood or should associate with other special or high status people. That she had a sense of entitlement, unreasonable expectations of especially favorable treatment or automatic compliance with her expectations, given the actual rules. Mm-hmm. The interpersonally exploitive, taking advantage of others to achieve their own ends, again with the rules, and showing arrogant, haughty, or behaviors or attitudes. So that was my justification for narcissistic personality disorder. And then just, her always pausing and talk to her YouTube subscribers, I guess, as you labeled them with the depersonalization, derealization disorder, with the presence of persistent or recurrent experiences of unreality, detachment, or being an outside observer with respect to one's thoughts, feelings, sensations, body, or actions. With that being the distorted sense of time, unreal or absent self, emotional and physical numbing. And then the disturbance is not attributable to physiological effects of a substance and not better explained by other mental disorders.
The hard part about that, though, like with diagnosing her with narcissism, is like, can you really treat narcissism?
So, yes and no. I feel like there are strategies that you can do, that you can try to help individuals gain empathy, seeing how their actions affect others, things like that. Is there like a cure? No. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there are certain interventions that can be done. Cognitive behavioral therapy, seeing where the cognitions influence the behavior and how we can change that behavior, doing those different things. I think that can be done with individuals, but like they're always going to be a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah, and I also feel like they would need to be medicated. I do, because it's like
I have strong feelings about medication. So
I would
disagree, but
I feel like narcissism is above my pay grade. Listen, I'm gonna have to get a psychiatrist involved. We're gonna need a whole treatment team if I'm working with someone with narcissism. Because looking at it, it's like, you want to like look at the history and current status of it and where it comes from.
But the reason that I didn't give the borderline, like you were saying before, is because I feel like we didn't know enough about her internal feelings. Mm-hmm. Because clearly she's not a good communicator. She's not good with expressing her feelings. So we didn't have a lot to go off of there. And so I wasn't able to speak to the unstable self-image or sense of self, the possible suicidal behaviors, ideations, the chronic feelings of emptiness and stuff like that. Like I didn't get enough from her character to be able to fully diagnose with borderline, which is why I landed on the narcissistic personality disorder.
So what would be your treatment plan for her?
Whew. Okay, so my thing is that I probably wouldn't see her individually. I don't think that she would come on her own. The only way that I would see her is as a couple.
Mm.
So if, you know, with her and Keith possibly getting back together, I think that that would be the end. And then we can look at how, like we said before, how your actions impact the other person. We could possibly do a little bit of, I think empty chair work would be good.
Mm.
Because she needs that practice of expressing herself, expressing those feelings, getting that out, the communicating, how not just only her actions might make Keith feel and how she needs to show empathy, but expressing how his actions made her feel, because her inability to do that and only doing that for like 2 seconds in the bathroom when she was panicking was why she implemented the rules and why she did what she did instead of just expressing her feelings. She felt like, I need to train you so that this never happens again.
I think for her in particular, EBT would be useful, like emotional behavioral therapy. Mm-hmm. And if I were to look at some goals, it would be to learn and implement effective communication skills with significant others, and then implement problem-solving skills with significant others to address problems that arise. Because I feel like she struggles with problem solving.
Yeah, and I feel like she's going to have to be in there she's going to need to seek treatment for a little while, because she's so used to jumping into implementing the rules or manipulative behavior or whatever it is that she's like this pattern that she's created. And so she's going to need practice with like actually stopping, processing emotions, and then reacting as opposed to like she needs to learn how to respond and not react.
Right, exactly. And so I think like cognitive behavioral techniques, so like the education, so that educating of communication styles, appropriate communication styles, and then modeling, so, you know, showing how assertive communication looks, and then also like role playing. So definitely with Gestalt's chair, you know, using that as a technique as well. So, I mean, I feel like she does have that area that she can work on. And there's other areas that we could get to as well, as far as like the history and how this all came about in the first place.
And I think her being a professional woman and giving high value to those type of accolades, she strikes me as someone who wouldn't want to fail. Mm-hmm. And so that inner competition might drive her to success. So I would have a positive prognosis for her.
Yeah, I think so.
Her and Keith, rather, because we would be seeing them as a couple.
For Tony, I'm really interested, and this may be just me personally, to understand the history and nature of his obsession with women, other than the fact that he's a man. I mean, yeah, given, that's great. But I just wanted to know, like, when did it become such an intensity for him to be the master of this game? What caused this drive and motivation to not necessarily understand the woman, but to understand and win the game? It seems as if his priority was to win the game and not necessarily have the relationship. So where does that, because that's where the problem is with him not being able to make, or not having a relationship of his own, is this desire to want to win this game that he's playing by himself.
But do you think in his own relationship, because he does have this infatuation with women, do you think in his own relationship that he would value the win over the relationship? Or do you feel like it's just easier to do because now he's not involved with this woman, he's in competition with this woman, and so he has to win, and his emotions are not at stake by playing the game through Keith, vicariously through Keith. Keith needs some confidence building.
And boundaries.
Some assertiveness training.
And boundary training. I mean, seriously, like, wow. He really had a huge impact and input on Keith and his interaction with his own girlfriend. And had Keith set, you know, boundaries with that, I feel like maybe the outcome would have been a lot different too. Maybe it would have been in more favor of Shantae versus, you know, him, I guess, winning the game at the end of the day. I don't know. But that's it. I think he does have a good prognosis. I don't like.
Yeah, I definitely feel that Tony would have a good prognosis. I don't think that Connie would. I don't know. I see Connie just marrying a former NFL player and
yeah, that's pretty much and becoming a
real housewife.
A real housewife. She would definitely make an amazing real housewife. Absolutely,
she would.
Okay,
then success.
Success. I love it.
Seeing the positive. This is positive psychology. We see the strengths in everyone. Deirdre, I just hope that she finds someone who can love her fully and that she no longer has to fight men, and that she can feel nurtured herself. That's all I want for Deirdre.
I think a long-term goal for her, according to my treatment manual, would be to develop the necessary skills for effective, open communication, mutually satisfying sexual intimacy, and enjoyable time for companionship within the relationship.
I agree. Well said, Manuel.
Thank you.
I would like to see Tracy and Dwayne do role reversal. I think that would be fun, a fun session.
Honestly, and then for Tracy, she needs to increase her awareness of her own role in the relationship conflicts.
And I think that would be done through role reversal. Her seeing herself portrayed by Dwayne, I think that at first she would be pissed off, but after a while, like she would have to be confronted with the things that she's doing to perpetuate their cycle.
Another thought just came to me is like, how serious are these relationships, right? Because it's like, are you going to make the commitment to change these behaviors, or are you just going to like be like, okay, we're not seeing eye to eye, stay the same, and then move on to the next person? Because when I think about like where the era that we're in right now, it doesn't seem as if people tend to take responsibility within the relationships, and then the same issue may come up in the next relationship, but because that person didn't accept that issue, they're easy. It's like we're real easy to move on. We don't give things time. We don't.
And this was also a different time, though. It doesn't seem like 2001 was forever ago, but you also have to think 2001 is before social media. 2001 is before online dating. 2001 is there's less accessibility to the entire world where someone can be more easily replaceable. And so if you value the relationship, I mean, Tracy was still messing with this dude and she knew he was cheating.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so are you, like as a therapist doing the couples, treatment and, therapy is like, you want them to give a commitment of change. Like, what are we doing this for if you're going to continue to stay the same?
But I also feel like with couples counseling, you need to establish early on if they both feel that the relationship is worth fighting for. And I think that even Shantae says that early in the movie, is like, you need to decide, is your man worth keeping? Because if you don't want him,
then none of the rules apply.
None of this matters, but you don't have to do any work. And I think that is the same with any time that you are trying to have any behavior modification. Is this worth the change? So if you feel like, yes, it is, then you do the work. But if you don't feel like it's worth it, then you let it go. So if they were committing to the 10-day program, then they should be just as committed to healthy behavior modification.
But are we always that committed to the healthy?
Hell no. The negative stuff is always more fun.
It's always more fun.
If you would like to support the show to help us get more content out to you all, you can visit our website and follow the Support the Show link to become a Patreon member or donate on our Cash App. Now, we're happy to get the kind of money that jingles, but we'd rather the kind that folds. As always, be sure to subscribe to our show wherever you get podcasts and leave us a comment, because we're counselors and we actually care about what you have to say. So until next time, y'all, peace.
Okay, bye.